is now joining us. There is 14 minutes to go for market closing. Jay, pushing through, pushing higher. Are you changing your view?
No, Prashant. No, I've been saying that since 18,500 that the markets are making higher highs, and until the supports are not giving away, the markets are still trading higher. And I outlined a few weeks back that if the markets were to take out the all-time highs, it would do a couple of things. It's already done the first thing that I highlighted. The market would push somewhere close to 19,350, and the markets are trading slightly above that. And the next resistance is about 19,500 and then 19,900. Looking at the markets from the extreme short term, say from a couple of weeks perspective, I would say the markets have still got one more sequence of higher high in the daily time frame, not on the intraday time frame, on the daily time frame. So, but there are some signs within sectors that are showing signs of, cooling off. I would still think that those are pullbacks within the short to medium term uptrend. But the medium to long term is slightly different. When the time is appropriate, we'll talk about it. But that will distract from keeping the focus over the next push higher for the markets.
What about the financials? That's 1/3 of the market. Do you see it as a problem pocket or pushing higher?
Yeah, it's slightly weaker than the broader markets, but as we have highlighted that several weeks ago, the upside for the banking sector is quite limited. But it's still holding up about critical support of about 43,500, 43,400. As long as the index is managing to hold those levels, assume that it's trying to push towards all-time highs. But it is definitely weaker, and the long-term resistance for the financial sectors coming in about 47,000 to 49,000. It's a long-term channel starting from 2004, from the time the banking index was implemented. That is hitting the markets around 47,000. That has put a brakes on the market during the GFC crisis, during 2011, during 2018 to 2019. Just before the COVID crisis. So it's a very important resistance line that's coming in about 47,000 to 49,000. Weaker in the short term, but still pushing higher.
Okay, interesting. So we'll watch out for those levels. Still some distance away from that important resistance mark. Jay, hi, good afternoon. Are you noticing anything interesting in the auto patterns? There's a lot going on. I mean, a little bit of profit taking as the monthly sales trickled in. Today, Eicher is down because of news flow, because of competitive pressures. But anything interesting on the charts when you're looking at these frontline auto names?
Yeah, see, from the auto sector as such has been the leader along with FMCG and capital goods. And we had a price projection of about 15,100 for the Nifty Auto Index. It's overshot that by a slight margin. I would still think this is just a cool off, like I highlighted in my opening comments. But as long as the index can manage to hold about 14,525 on a closing basis, I would view this as just a short-term profit taking. But in the event that the auto index were to close below 14,525, I would have to make a reassessment. Because this is a market leader. It has very important bearing on the stock market as well as the economy. Within the auto space, it looks like TVs Motors has made an incomplete move to record highs. So, as long as TVs Motor can stay above 1250, 1280 range, I would still think that it's heading to record highs past 1425 and 1490. But allocate lower because it's in the last stretch of the move. You don't want to be, allocating a much higher level. Allocate sensibly.
Jay, do stay on. We need to slip.
He's been running us through what he makes of the auto space, financials, the Nifty, but there's one area where you're a bit more cautious right now. You've been cautious, IT services. What's the sort of play here and specific names which look good or bad in that space?
Yeah, the Nifty IT has been a surprising weak pocket, Prashant, and it still continues to be a weak pocket. One would have thought that, the AA mania, it would have got some tailwind, but it's not happening. As long as the index stays below 3,300, it's still prone for profit booking. From a slightly higher time frame, it can probably stretch to somewhere to 31,600, but I don't think that it has that much legs, because the frontline names, Infosys, TCS, and Wipro to a lesser extent, are still struggling and looking like they can get dragged down. But this is slightly stretching into the mid-cap names which have been strong, and I've been bullish on Persistent, Coforge from last October, that they might see some profit booking here. And in fact, there might be a short-term opportunity, the extreme short-term opportunity in Coforge and Birla Soft, if they were to break today's low later on from tomorrow's session to anywhere, without breaking the high of the last couple of sessions. If that happens, that will present an extreme short-term trading opportunity, somewhere about 7 to 10% drop for both these stocks. IT remains a weak pocket.
Very quickly, Swelect Engineering, this energy, this is a solar power manufacturing company, not very big. Its market capitalization is 600 crore. It's not done too much this whole year, but today on large volumes, it surged 16%. Take us through the technical setup.
Yeah, it's a very interesting stock. And in fact, before the last few minutes, before it came on the screen, it spiked a little bit. The structure of the stock is pretty similar to the Nifty, briefly breaching the 2022 low for the stock, and then it's bounced back. The high it registered last year, 2022 or 2021, is a little close to 360. And I think that high is going to get 460. I think that's going to get challenged. And the structure is pushing for record highs. And as long as the stock can stay above 310, I think it's going for fresh record highs close to 470 to 500 plus.
Okay, big volumes. Actually, the volumes are some of the highest in more than a year in today's session. And of course, we'll see how this one goes. But Jay's call there. 3 minutes to go for market closing. Jay, good to have you with us here. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it here, as always, on CNBC-TV18. Speak with you next week. So we're up. We're going to end.